all this conversation. You know you that bitch when you cause all this conversation. You know you that bitch when you...
Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Coach Mean Reen and I'm so happy you are here. So today I have a very special guest. I have a special guest in the building. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have you. We have Coach Sherry, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Coach
Thank
Sherry.
you so much for having me, Coach Mean Reen, in the building. I love it. I'm so happy to have this conversation with you on your channel, and I appreciate the invitation. And so I am a content creator here on YouTube. My channel is Coach Sherry, and my channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and real talk.
Yes. And if you haven't, guys, please run over to Coach Sherry's channel and subscribe and watch her content. She has amazing content. It will make you want to be a better person. Like you just gonna get on your business, like on your business all the way. So guys, I'm so excited. Like I'm really happy. I'm gonna wait to really begin our conversation because I would like for more people to come in. Guys, say hello to each other in the chat. If you're not connected, please connect with each other. Before we begin, I just want to remind you that I have a challenge coming up. The challenge is called the I Want to Be Down Fitness Challenge, and it begins on May 5th, and it will run until May 25th. The challenge is fun-filled fun and fitness. That's what we're about, and that's what we're going to cover during the challenge. Like I said, it's 21 days, and you will get workouts, you will get dietary aid or dietary guidance from me, as well as accountability each and every day. If you would like to sign up for the challenge, then you can sign up by using the description. There's a link in the description of this video, and there's also a link on my community page. So I just wanted to say that before we begin our talk today. So we are two ladies that really think a lot about legacy and think about the things that we do now and how it can impact us as we get older. So the name of our live today is just that. It's Your Future Self, building your future self. So I'm going to let Coach Sherry begin this discussion. The first thing that we're going to kind of cover is daily choices that shape habits. So Coach Sherry, please take the floor.
Yes. And this is a complete conversation,
Yes.
and I feel like, from our 2-hour telephone conversation, this is going to be a continuum. And it's just that we have some great people coming in the chat that will chime in as well. But, I just have been thinking a lot about what can motivate me and what motivates me. And a lot of people talk about what would you tell your past self, your 21-year-old self, your 30-year-old self. I'm 55, so I can go on for a few decades. And I always would say, I would tell myself, keep going. Like it's gonna be a good time. It's going to be an amazing experience. And to me, that's not rich enough. I don't want to look back and, have to say that, or even if it was something, don't worry, it's going to get better type of thing. We can't go back in time. We can only move forward. So it really should be about, what are you going to tell your future self? Or how are you living for your future self? Or what is your future self going to thank you for because of the changes and the choices you're making today? And so, thinking about that, those daily choices, but keeping your future self in mind, to me, that's so motivating. That is so motivating. Taking care of yourself does not have to be an uphill battle, but if you don't take care of yourself, it will be. And then that's when you start looking back to your past self and saying, oh, listen, I'm going to tell you, take care of yourself, because when you get to this age, so why can't we just start doing that now for our future?
I definitely agree with that. I think when we're thinking about our future self, if we don't really can't really tap into that, just take a look at the older people in your family.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing? Like what does life look like for them in their older age? And then ask yourself if that's what you want. Like if what they are doing in their older age is how you want to live, then continue on the path. Normally, the behaviors that we have are passed down from our parents, are passed down from our family, and we can look to the future to see where we're going to end up if we continue on the same path. But if you look at the people and the people around you that are older, and you're like, I don't want that for me.
Yeah.
I don't want that for me. Then you have the choice now to make those changes, to start looking at what you're doing in your life that will cause you to end up in that way. And then specifically, I'm
Absolutely.
talking for me, because I'm all about fitness. And specifically, I'm talking about taking care of your health. And there's such a broad term to say taking care of your health. What does that mean? Like, what does that really mean? There's so many different ways you can do that. There's so many different things that we're being told out in the world. But what does that really mean for you? What does it look like to take care of yourself? What does it look like
Exactly.
for you, Coach Sherry? Like, what
Well,
does that?
it looks like internally and externally. And the interesting thing, I've been saying this to my daughters for years. I have two daughters and a son. My daughters are 23 and 24 years old, and in many aspects of who they are, they remind me of my younger self, a
Mhm.
lot like my younger self. And so I always tell them, I'm the after picture. I'm the after, you know, I'm the picture, the before, I'm the after. Um, and I would say that in a jokingly way, trying to help them understand that y'all need to keep working out, you need to keep eating right. Because at the time when I was saying it, I wasn't like 100% really feeling my after picture look. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Mhm.
I'm telling them, like, this is what you're gonna look like if you think you could eat that cake. This is what you're gonna look
Mm.
like if you think you could eat that pasta. And then I'm starting to think, like, I want them to be happy that I'm the after picture, that they have something to look forward to. Like, you know what, that after picture is not so bad. And they would tell me, you know what, mom, like, and like, it's not bad. But I'm looking at them for where they are and how I am now. You can't look at yourself as a 21-year-old, 23-year-old, whatever. But it also made me say, I don't want to look like my I don't mind the way they look, but just think about it. I'm 55. 55 looks different today than it did back in the day. So
Your
I love
55 looks amazing, by the way. But go on, girl.
thank you. Thank you. But it looks so different. It was smock dresses, it was polyester, it was,
Them
you know,
rollers.
yes, sponge rollers. It was
Mhm.
maybe walking over, bent over a little bit,
Yeah.
just a lot. It was a lot. It was different. And so I want to do better so that it can, as we continue to live longer, that we can live longer in a healthier way. So I really also concentrate on the emotional side, the mental, the mindset, staying positive and pouring good things, listening to great things, enjoying life, laughing, being around people, like making sure my circle is tight and right, not in quantity, but in quality. And,
Yes.
just whatever I do, just make sure it brings joy to my life in every way. You do have those choices, I find, especially when you hit 50, where, that no period, it really stands strong. So that's what taking care of myself looks like. But keep moving too. We
Yeah.
we had talked about it, and I had seen your video last week about you wanting to work from home. And before COVID and before I'm doing what I do, I used to work home all the time, but my children were younger, so I was in and out. I may have worked from home, but I'm going to the school at some point during the day. We're doing this, I'm in and out, in and out. But with COVID and everything shut down like it did, I was home. I may have walked 300 steps sometimes in a day, just from
Yeah.
my office to the bathroom to the kitchen, whatever. But I can only do the outskirts of the kitchen since I can't cook like that. My people are nervous in that way. But it made my body atrophy. It made me stiff.
Yeah.
And that's another thing with getting older. When your body gets stiff, you don't have to lay down for that. You don't have to lay down for that. When you start noticing those little things, don't just call it to,
Like,
it's
oh, I'm
my
getting
age.
older. That's it.
Yeah, no, you need to nip that in the bud. So living a healthier life is also keeping my body moving. And I can't afford to just sit around. Some young people, that's true. At this point, the way the food is hitting and is not good anymore like it used to be, every age needs to know that they have to keep moving. They have to keep moving.
Yes. And that's part of the reason why I started doing what I do. To kind of cut the excuses. Like you mentioned, working from home. The reason why it will work well for me is because I have my online fitness business, and me working from home it would make it so much easier. I could do a lunchtime class.
Yeah.
I could do so many more things if I'm able to just be home. But when we look at like stuff like working out and moving our body, I often come up against resistance when I talk to people about working out. And I always wonder what that block is. Why don't people want to work out? I ask this question often because I really want to know. I want to know like someone could start a workout journey. They could be working out for a while and then they just stop and they don't go back to it, even though the benefit of working out is so great. So the thing for me is I'm not working out to be a size 2. I'm working out so that when I'm 80 years old, I'm able to sit on the toilet unassisted. I'm able to carry groceries, and I'm able to sit up in bed. Things that we take for granted. Yeah. Like that is the reason why I do what I do. And that's the reason why I am so passionate about movement, because we're getting older and we don't, in this society we live in now with all of the Instagram models and this and that and the third, we have women who are older, women that are 40 and above that are so ashamed of their age. But we should really be looking at our age as a sign of honor. It's a badge of honor at this point, because we've lived long enough. We've been here long enough to wear the wrinkles, to have gray hair. We survived. And we're in a place now where we're wise beyond our years. So we can look to the younger people or look to our younger self and be like, Dad, when I was 25, my waist was cinched and my waist was this and I was this and I was that. But look at you now at 55, you are glowing. At 46, I am glowing. We are juicy.
Yes.
We're still here. We're still doing it. And I'm so proud of that. And that's kind of, that's kind of what drives those daily habits, is to keep it going, Yes. We want to keep it going. Let's take a pause here. I just want to acknowledge some of the people in the chat. We have quite a few ladies here and gentlemen. Hello, everyone. Yes. So if I miss your name, I am so sorry. I am on StreamYard, and sometimes the chat does what it feels like doing, but I just want to acknowledge a few people that are here. We have Monique in the building. Hi, Monique. How are you? Welcome. We have Sassy here. Hi, Sassy. Welcome. We have Pandy's here. Candy. Ooh, hair candy. Ooh. Is that for natural hair? Please drop that in the chat if you can. We have Rooted and Essential Oils in the building. Hi, Rooted. Welcome. So happy to see you guys. We have APL, A Positive Lifestyle, in the building. I love your profile picture. Okay, girl.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yes. Who else? I saw Queen. Where's Queen?
She was at the top. She was the
There's,
first.
okay, I see it. I see it.
Mhm.
We have Queen's Alchemy. She was the first one here today. Welcome, Queen. And let's see if we have any. We have T. I cannot pronounce this. Maybe you can, Coach Sherry.
TCHBCU.
Oh, that's what that says.
Yes, I mean she has
Oh,
other letters after it. Yes,
yeah.
it's TC. Yes.
Hi, welcome. It's good to see you. Okay, guys. So yes, look, 55 in the building. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, 55 and loving it. That is a badge of honor. I feel like we've entered into like this time where the elders are not being honored. And that is crazy to me. Like there's all the wisdom and all of the life experience. Like we're stepping into the golden era of our lives, and we gonna love it. We gonna love it.
It hits different. 50, that decade of 50 is special. It really is. I couldn't wait. 49, getting ready to turn 50. It felt like a rebirth. You know, this is half of my life. And I have so much experience, wisdom, like you're saying, and skills that I'm just like, let the red carpet roll out so I can pull all this out and just let my tools fall where they may, because I'm here for it, you know? And like the elders now are more conscious than they were before. I mean, we have issues, we have challenges, we have things to really be concerned about with ourselves, with the world, with our country, with our families. But I feel like our coping skills are different because we do understand self-care. They didn't. I remember hugging my mother, and I know she had to be in her early, she probably was around my age at the time. And I just remember like she had so much that she was caring for, so many people, things. And I hugged her and I said, Mom, if you taking care of all these people, who's taking care of you? And she thought about it and she said, the good Lord. And that's true. That's true for all of us. But at some point too, you have to, your energy, you have to take your energy back.
You have to take responsibility for you. You have to take that time. Like the spending all of our time caring for others. I just really believe that is what causes a lot of these ailments we end up with later on.
Yes.
We
The
end up
best
with
thing you can do for someone is to empower them and not be an enabler, but empower them to do what they need to do for themselves. That's the best you can do. But when you are that source, people are coming to you, your well gets dry. It gets dry and they don't come back because they know your well is dry. But then you thirsty and you try to go to your well. You can't even get water from your own well because you gave it all up.
Yeah.
And
And it's not selfish to do that. It's not selfish. It's not. I hear that quite often with some of the people that are clients of mine, that they often feel guilty when they have to take time out for themselves and they have to take time to do their workout or take time to away from their family to cook their meals or whatever. And I'm like, but you're helping them, because if you're not healthy, what happens to them? What happens to them?
What happens to your job? What happens to your business?
Right. And then the thing with our jobs, like we work ourselves to the bone, but if something happened to us, what will happen? What they gonna do? They're gonna find somebody else to cover your shift, right?
Exactly.
They will find someone else. So that's
and
what
that question,
find somebody else to do it.
Yeah, they would. You're replaceable. Everybody's, to a certain extent.
To a certain degree. They might not have your skill level. They might not have the zhuzh that you have, but they'll find somebody else to do the basic tasks. They will.
Exactly. And when you said that about what makes people hesitate, to work out? What gives them that pause? Just like you also mentioned about social media and the microwave generation. Everybody wants things so fast. So they work out that first day, they're going to go so hard. And it's like, calm down. You haven't worked out in 3 years.
Right.
Slow your roll, because the next day when they're hurt and they still weigh the same, they still look the same in the mirror, they get discouraged the next day. And then they don't come back because they feel like this not going to work. It's taking too long.
Right.
And you know what? It's about the slow and steady that wins the race. You don't want that microwave results. You don't, and I think that's really the case. So people have to understand their capabilities, pace themselves, put themselves on their schedule, because that's maybe what it's going to take, time block, and know that today I'm doing something. 30 minutes, you can't even give yourself 30 minutes.
And that is really something to pause on. You cannot dedicate 30 minutes to yourself. Like, come on, we got to do better than that. I just want to acknowledge Stephanie 57 Journey. I didn't see you in the chat before, Stephanie, but welcome, Stephanie. And we have TWP here.
TW Popcorn in the building, popping in. Yes.
But yes, definitely thinking about how to incorporate that time. And I like what you said about people wanting the microwave results. And the thing that I always say about that is, so let's say you want to lose 50 pounds, and people always want to do it really quickly, right? So you lose 50 pounds by your birthday in 3 months.
Right.
By some miracle, you drop 50 pounds. Okay. Then what?
Yeah.
What happens the day after your birthday? Are we going to gain 50 pounds? So like taking the time to incorporate it into your lifestyle, because after you lose the weight, you have to keep it off.
Listen, and then you remember back in the day?
Too. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember back in the day when Oprah went on that liquid diet?
Oh yeah, and she
dragging all that weight, and she brought the fat on the wagon.
Yeah, I remember that image of her in the jeans. I was a little girl, and I struggled with my weight, and I was like, wow. And but that's the thing like 20 pounds, though. Of course, that's the thing I always think about is those messages and those images that we get. We don't see the day-to-day hard work when people lose weight. We just see them big and then small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And social media, the same thing. The things that are pushed out to us is lose 30 pounds in 30 days, lose 100 pounds in 6 months. And if that doesn't happen for you, you quit. Yeah. Same thing with YouTube. We're content creators, and it's 30. Oh, be monetized in 30 days. Yeah. It's not about how fast you get there, because once you get there, you have to maintain. So you have to pace yourself so that you're able to do this thing like a marathon. You guys are sprinting. You're trying to sprint there when you need to slow it down.
Exactly. And that goes with everything. Also, Coach Mean Reen. When I'm coaching people that are trying to get promoted to maybe a supervisor or manager level or director level, I always ask, and they get mad because maybe they've been with the organization that they're with or the company they're with for years. Like, oh, people are, coming in, they're young, been here shorter time than me, and they're getting promoted, and I'm still not getting the promotion. Boom, boom. I always ask, okay, if you became that manager, what would you do?
Right.
They don't know. It'll be the most nonsensical thing they'll tell me that they would do. Oh, I'd make sure everyone's voice is heard. What? Are you mad? You need to have a strategic plan already when you get into those types of roles. You need to already know, like, where are the gaps? What are the needs? And what do you have, your ideas that can help make that better? And actually, if you really have those ideas, you start implementing them right now. Yeah. You start making a business case. People always say, I have things I want to do, but they won't let me. No one wants to listen because no one can hear you. The way you're saying it, no one can hear the words that are coming from your mouth. You need to put it in writing, make a business plan, and just send it as a proposal. Like, you know what? These are some of my thoughts. So it's in writing. So guess what? If they at some point decide that they're going to use that, you gave it to them first. You
Yeah.
shared it with them first. And they may look at it and see that you shared it with them. And that's how you get that tap on the shoulder. But
Yeah.
just think, because you've been there for so long,
That's that
that
entitlement, that sense of entitlement and feeling like if I, because I've been here longer, and that goes across the board, because I've been here longer, because I think I should, but if you haven't really put in the work, you cannot look at what someone else's vision, what somebody else's journey has been, because you don't know
right,
what they've done.
right,
You don't know what their
exactly.
credentials are. You don't know. They can be 10 years or 15 years younger than you, but they've been putting in the work.
Yeah. And then, you know what? And a lot of times, if they're not the cream that should have risen to the top, it'll come to
It'll
pass.
come to pass.
It'll be seen.
Yeah.
And that's like, still, that's aligned with even my journey here on YouTube. I'm sweet 16 on YouTube. I
Wow.
haven't been a content creator for 16 years, but I've been on YouTube for 16 years. I've had my channel, I've used it as a viewer. And in the past 5 years, I really became more of a content creator. And I've seen people come and go, like, do it fast and furious, 60 days monetized, and then you don't see them ever again. And I feel like, when you don't get that microwave results, it's because God is trying to show you something. A lot of
Yes.
people always call it the devil. Oh, the devil held me down. The devil. No, I never use the devil in any example of any area of my life. I will never say that thing has caused me to not. I look at it as God is telling me there's still lessons for you to learn. There's still people for you to meet. And sometimes if you get to other levels, you may not take the time, the moment to have these more intimate conversations, these more real, authentic connections. And
Yeah.
I know that's why my journey has been slow yet steady. And I'm not mad at that, because I see how it works. A lot of times people get burnt out, people get discouraged, people get, another shiny object like TikTok or another platform will come up and they'll go over there. They don't have stick
Yeah.
to itness, and that's the thing too. Having stick to itness pays off. But it's all God in the same time. That's the lessons that are learned through the midst of it all, whether it's when you want it or, when it comes to you, because it's two different things. You can want it when you want it, but he knows when to give it to you. And it has nothing to do with the devil, nothing.
Right.
It makes
Like,
me nervous sometimes when I hear people blame the devil for things. I was like, oh, what? Why can't you see that that's God too? Trying to maybe you were late. It wasn't because of the devil. It's because maybe there was a crash up ahead and you just missed it. And that's why you were
yeah.
late. Like, look at the blessing in it all.
Oh, the
And not
lesson,
the,
like you said, the blessing or the lesson. Sometimes we
yes,
still have a lot to learn, because even though you might want that shiny thing, or you might want to have 100,000 subscribers, or you might want
a
to
million.
have that promotion or whatever it is, you ain't ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. And look, wasn't last night a clear example? Because after when we were
Yeah.
all talking from the panel, I was like, yo, I'm this year, month
And
old.
I'm just
Just
finding
learning
this out.
this.
Right. Like, sometimes we
I'm
want
to learn.
something, but we're truly not ready. And my thing is, like, are you willing to take some courses? Are you willing to put in the work? Like, or do you just want the accolade?
Right. Right. Do you
And
just want that
you see
plaque?
that with celebrities too. We see celebrities that like become overnight sensations and they burn out, or
Yeah.
they crash out.
One
Either
and
one.
done. One and done. A great movie, and then you don't see them ever
You don't
again.
see them ever again,
Mm-hmm.
or they have a hit song and you don't see
Yeah.
them, or they have a season where they do pretty well, but they
Mm-hmm.
start to crash out. Like, so
Yeah.
then all you see of them is the crash out. You don't get to, because they haven't had a chance to develop
Yeah.
into a fully formed human to be able to handle everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Elle. How are you?
Yeah.
Welcome.
I was in Brit Family's live just a few minutes before we started. It was cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited to get to know her for
So,
sure.
guys, I see a few people came in. So I just want to say that we are just here having a conversation, and we're just talking. We're talking to our future selves, because in all aspects of our lives, whether it be fitness, whether it be education, career, all of the things. We're doing the thing, whatever we're doing it for our future self.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next thing I want to talk about, this is your expertise.
Mhm.
Education and skill development. So we kind of
Yeah.
started talking about this with YouTube as the example, and people wanting to have a huge platform but not quite being ready.
Mhm.
So what do you think?
Yes. Education, and it's not necessarily a degree. It could be a certification, it could be a continuing education course. It's so important, especially now. We all need to upskill and reskill ourselves to prepare for what's to come. So many people sit at home and they're shivering, they're petrified of the unknown, of, oh, this is happening and it's going to take my job.
Mhm.
This new AI is going to come, and what I do is never going, it's not going to be the same. And I've been saying this now for the past 3 years to people, trying to calm them down, talk them off the ledge, that yes, things are going to change, but you have to change too. So if you know that a new technology or a new system is coming in, you need to learn that system. You need to learn that technology, because new jobs and careers are going to be developed. Your job or career may no longer be, it may no longer be relevant. That happens not all the time, but it happens.
It
And now
happens.
is the time that is happening. And so
Hmm.
since it's happening, how are you preparing yourself? How are you upskilling and reskilling yourself? And right now, the way things are moving, it's one of the most exciting times if you're innovative and creative, if you're willing to pivot. And that's the thing, not getting stuck, but willing to pivot. When you get that ball, and I played basketball, I've coached basketball, and so I know when you get that ball, your feet can't be cemented to that ground. You have to
Hmm.
have that 1 foot up so that you can pivot and be able to move and look around at the whole court. Who are you going to pass it to? Are you going to pass, dribble, or shoot? What are your options? Where you're at, you got to understand what your options are. If you've been laid off, listen, there's so many nonprofit organizations out there that offer free training to prepare you for that what's next. And you need to take advantage of it. They're not going to knock on your door. They're not going to send you an email. They're not going to call you, tap you on the shoulder at the grocery store. You have to go to them, and you just go look them up and go Google AI, whatever you want to use, and say free training in my area. It'll be Goodwill, there's Urban League. And let me tell you, there's people, and see, the thing is, I'm a proponent for multiple streams of income. So if something happens
Yes.
to your one sure shot, you have other ones that can still hold you down. And so I have people that are, in corporate, that are going back to get trained up in HVAC technicians,
Yeah.
to in plumbing, in electrical, in mechanical things, because they know that if their sure shot happens, something happens to that, they could always have a business doing that. One guy was like, yo, I had some problems with my HVAC, and the man came, and his system was up in his attic. He went with the man to see, like, he kind of good with his mechanics and stuff, but he don't know
Mhm.
HVAC that way. So he went and saw what the man did, and he was like, it was way too simple. It was
Yeah.
way too simple. So he figured it out, and he had to go back to get his license so he can get the equipment that you use to fix the HVAC stuff. And
Hmm.
he's not going to get a job in that, but he might open a business doing it on the side. And also, that's another stream where he can hire his community to also
Right.
work for him. There's plenty of people that have box trucks. They work a regular job, and they might work that regular job for the benefits, for the health benefits. Because if you are a sole proprietor, benefits are a grip.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people are doing that, and then they have their side job, and they have other people doing their side business. It could be landscaping, it could be owning a box car, or any type of thing where you have to have a GC license, looking to getting a general contractor's license. There's so much that you can do. It may not be what you went to college for if you have a degree, and you got to get out of your ego with that. So many
Mm.
people are like, oh, my people are going to be mad because I went to school to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer, whatever. And maybe you realize that's not really your calling, that's not really your passion. And a lot of people figure that out, but they get so caught up into what people are going to think. We're not in a time where you should give a damn what people think. You need to do what's best for you in this
What
time.
about like someone, let's say they're in their 50s, right? And they
Hmm.
have to pivot with their career at this time, like, and it's kind of something that they have to do right now, like they have to pivot, and they're worried about like getting hired in their 50s. What advice would you give?
Don't worry. First of all, worry can't even be part of your situation, nowhere near it. There are, at one point before COVID, there were 5 generations in the workforce. We have about a good 4 now in the workforce. It's all hands on deck. Employers are realizing that they need all levels of understanding, you know, in the workplace. I have apprenticeship programs where I'll have 18 to 65-year-olds in the same cohort. And they all are there to learn and to, you know, become a journey worker and get skilled up. They give a daggone how old the person next to them is, because can you do the work? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to learn? Okay, don't even put your age is not even in the equation. Because if it is for you, then you might have some other issues that maybe you really can't do the work because you're so concerned about your age and how it's gonna impact what you do. You might have some underlying issues that maybe this job isn't for you. But if you coming in there like, listen, this is me all day. This is what I do. This is what I want to do all day. Then you're gonna do it all day.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it is like we're in a scary time, like with jobs. You know, the current administration, we know there's a lot of things happening, and and people are losing their employment left and right. So I think that what you're saying about having multiple streams of income is really important, and looking into other types of jobs. Like you mentioned, the HVAC, that's a great one. General contracting, if you're really good at that kind of stuff. And what are some other things like that you can think of off the top of your head? Because I'm pretty sure I always think about, like, there's one person that's in the chat that is going through this right now and is looking for a new job. So what are some other options that you can think of?
So I'm going to share 5 options. I actually did a video on it not too long ago, but I have it written down. I'm going to share it. But the best thing, and you know, no matter where you are, like, I want to just tell you to calm down. Just calm down. Like, because when you move too fast, sometimes you make the wrong moves. You know, I always look at getting employed, having a business is like a relationship. You know, you have to let things marinate. You have to know what you want. And you could absolutely get what you want, but you have to calm down with it. People used to come into, I also am an adjunct and, you know, would teach continuing education, helping people get back into the workforce. And people will come in initially saying, you know, I just want a job, any job. I'm like, and that's what you'll get, a job, any job. If you're looking for a dude or a woman, you know, a man or a woman being in a partnership, and you just say, I just want a man, any man, that's what you're going to get.
That's what you're going to get.
Ooh. And so being targeted and being very, you know, specific about what you want, that's how you get what you want. You get what you want because you were specific with it. When you order food at the restaurant, you order what you want off that menu. You know, you look at the different options, what goes into it, and you order that, and that's what you eat. If it's not to your liking, you say, oh, can I have a little more of this or whatever? But you basically get what you want, more or less, right?
Right.
And that's how it is with everything in your life. So my highest recommendation, and this is something I do with my clients, and I don't mind sharing this because there are some career coaches that use platforms that you have to pay for. I don't, because when I coach a person, even though they pay me, I want them to share the information that I give them with their circle, with their family and friends. It's no sense in you being the best on the block, the best in your family. You need to share good things that's making a change in your life with everyone else. So there is a site that I use and have been using for the past 15 years. It's free. Most other sites, most other platforms that can do it are getting the information from this site, which is so crazy to me. I have talked to career directors on college campuses, and we have argued back and forth about it because they, you know, oh, we use this site, blah, blah, boom, boom. Yeah, and you pay X amount, and it's only limited to the amount of people you could get, share it with. This site is free, and it doesn't have pop-ups. The only thing it doesn't do is save your results, and that's easy. You write your results down. There's a way that you can get back to the end of the assessment, but there's the site is just a wealth of information. It's called mynextmove.org, and it's mynextmove.org. And you absolutely, take the assessment. It'll align you with careers that make sense to your experience, your education, your skill set. And it'll be careers that maybe you hadn't even thought of. 9 times out of 10, when I do it with a client, they're blown away. Wow. And I'm talking about, they're not blown away. They're like, oh my goodness, Coach Sherry, blah, blah, blah. They're like,
what?
It rocks their worlds. And I'm like, I know we're gonna finish this session so you can get elbow deep in it, because I know you're gonna want to go through more, but it is so deep.
You know what, like you mentioned, like you're okay sharing the information. There's a difference between like sharing the information and someone actually being your client and coaching, because I share a lot of my information, but it's a different thing when it's one-on-one coaching.
Absolutely.
So even if you share your information, it's still not the same as somebody being your client and you coaching them, because then it's a very individualized approach. So
absolutely.
So it's important to share out information. It is,
but you that secret sauce.
Yeah,
it's not gonna taste like a Big Mac without your secret sauce.
It's so it's, because I share a lot of what I think, and I share a lot of my stuff, but it's nothing like the one-on-one, or nothing like you said, like your secret sauce. Yeah, and that's a really good. Oh, you wanted to say something else?
I wanted to share the 5 occupations. So
okay, I'm going to put them in the chat. Okay.
So these are the top 5 emerging positions. Now, we all know AI is here. Check with your local community college, because community colleges are starting to create AI associate degrees. They also have AI certifications. So if you want to prepare for what's to come, that's one way to credential yourself up. So the first one is Chief AI Officer, and the acronym is CAIO, Chief AI Officer. And they manage internal productivity and Bella. They manage internal productivity and external offerings. The second one is FinOps, FIN, Ops Engineer. Now, Fin, that's dealing with finance and cost of things. Also think about FinTech. FinTech, like finance technology, dealing with cybersecurity on the financial side. But FinOps engineers, they manage cloud costs, combining finance and development operational skills to address the rising cloud prices. We was just talking about StreamYard last night.
Yeah.
Rising prices, you know what I'm saying? And so there's people, that's their job now, FinOps engineer. The next is an AI researcher in cybersecurity. And they study AI use in hacking campaigns. They analyze AI effectiveness in tech stacks and develop internal AI usage policies. Now, every company has policies, but do they have the AI policy yet? Maybe that's something that you can take the initiative.
It's something that they're working on, in my company anyway, in my organization.
But people are just, it's like they're going off of what they know about AI. They're not who, where, what, how. Where'd you go to school for? Where we at? How you know that? Right. But if you really are getting skilled up, and even with LinkedIn Learning, taking some courses there, or Coursera, so those types of places. The fourth one is Solutions Architect. And they create strategic technical visions. They bridge business requirements with technical solutions. And the fifth is 5G infrastructure engineer. And they deal with telecommunication. And this role involves planning and developing 5G infrastructure, like Internet of Things. where it's IoT and edge computing solutions. Understand what some of those cloud platforms are. It's not just, what we use for Apple and all that. There's so many different clouds. Workday is a huge platform. What's it called? Salesforce. If you can get in with platforms like that, that's going to be integral in businesses, companies, government. That will be a good, helpful thing too.
Thank you for that. That is really, really good information. Someone said in the chat that their son, I just saw that. Oh, Britt, my son is in college now. So, okay, good. So that's really good, like for children or young adults that are currently in college to kind of shift what they're studying would be really great.
For sure.
But he's doing computer science, but maybe he can he can specialize in AI since that's the new thing. It's taking over.
You definitely want to, if you can, you want to layer your credentials. So you could be going to school for whatever degree, but if you can get a certification too, certifications hold as much, almost in some cases, more weight than a degree, because it's very, like, now a degree, you know how long it takes to get a textbook rewritten. They're talking about the 19th century, in 1895 they were thinking. I had taken a class and they were, we had to write papers or whatever. It was a graduate class, and I was writing papers on my article because I'm published. I write articles about what I do. And so I'm going, I'm taking this class and I'm quoting my own stuff. And the professor was like, no. I'm like, listen, in the 19th century, what they were talking about, I'm doing that right now.
Right.
This is a ADA or whatever, I'm quoting it. I'm linking the link, whatever, however you got to do with the, year published, whatever. So what are you talking about? Just because it's my work, are you saying I can't quote it? That's ridiculous. I refuse to go back.
A little bit of, I don't want to use the word, but it is. I mean, it is what it is. You got to say what it is. A little bit of hate.
Yeah. Because a lot of educators on the collegiate level, that's their career collegiate professors. They haven't been out, so they don't know that maybe what you're teaching the students is happening.
Yeah.
So, but certifications is typically taught by people doing that work, and they're bringing that relevant information right there. So when you go to that next team meeting, you could sit there and be like, yo, I just learned boom, boom, boom. This could help us right away.
And I at least, like, I work for a state. I've always worked for the state and agencies like that. And I always speak about that. I speak about the fact that when they send social workers or they send supervisors that are working directly with these families to these trainings, they're being trained by people that have never in their life even been to the areas that these people are, and you want them to implement these grand things. When you go to someone's home, it's a totally different beast. Like, first of all, you're entering into someone's home with allegations of whatever you're entering, and the way that they present the information is just completely out of touch. And I always advocated for that there needs to be, the people that are training need to have been, need to have done, need to be doing. And that would also keep your workforce, because you're empowering the people that are doing the work to now train. And that gives people a boost. Like when they've been selected as someone to be a trainer and they have a new responsibility, that gives people, a little bit more incentive to stay.
Absolutely. That internal mobility,
But
and listen,
I don't know why that isn't a thing. I don't understand.
It is.
I mean, well, not where I was. It's not.
I know.
It's not a thing.
Because it's the old guard. It's the old guard, But listen, there was this report. I'm not going to say too much of it out loud because, the algorithms and everything. But there was this report, and it was done by two major groups in the country, on the East Coast and the West Coast. They did it together. And they went to 50 urban areas, cities, to see where was the land of opportunity. And, as robust and as fast growing. I mean, 115 people move to Charlotte every day. As dynamic as the banking is here, we're like the second or third largest banking system in America. We ranked 50 out of 50. And it was saying that a person born in poverty here has a greater chance of staying in poverty. And that was due to lack of access to transportation, housing, education, and jobs. So mobility, economic mobility.
In this
And
country,
yeah,
that's really sad.
it is. And so last fall, I went to an event, and one of the people that was the head of that study was there at this presentation. It was a panel. And so Bank of America is huge here in Charlotte. It was Nations Bank when I first moved to Charlotte, and now it's huge. And the former president of it, was on the panel, and he inspired me, because what I do, I don't see me not doing this, period. And
Right.
some people always are like, when you gonna stop? What you doing? Blah, blah, blah. This is what I do. Like, as long as I still am innovative, creative, and I love it, and I'm getting good money from it. What you mean? And so the president was on the panel, and he said, and he's 89. He's the former president. He's 89, and he said, in the 80s and the late 80s and 90s, he was saying himself, executives got it wrong.
Yeah.
We went into the communities in Charlotte and told them what to do.
Right.
We didn't listen to them. We just told them what we wanted them to do. And then we went back to our office.
Right.
And we was just like, we told them, and they didn't have the tools, the resources to do what they told them to do. So they failed, and they didn't do well. And that's why we were 50 out of 50. We're 38th now, and we're the third largest or fastest growing in terms of improvement. But we became 50 out of 50 because of that. Yeah, people are moving here from New York, Florida, Texas, all over the world even. And they're doing well because they come in here with ideas. They come in here with that fight. But the people that are from here, first of all, they are unicorns. You can barely find them, people that are originally from here. But they are the ones that were, having the biggest challenge. And so he said, the reason why I get up in the morning and do what I do is to right my wrong.
Yeah.
And I went up to him afterwards and I was like, you inspired me, because he is a billionaire. He don't have to do this.
Right.
He know he did wrong by the city. And so he's trying to make it better any way he can. And that's what we all have to do. If we know better, we have to do better for everyone.
We have to do better. And we have to do better, not, like you said, not just for ourselves, but also for our legacy.
Absolutely. I do what I do because it is part of my legacy. I live here.
Yeah.
Even if it's not here, I live in this country.
Right.
So I'm going to do everything I can do to make things better for everyone, because I can't be the only one all right. My family can't be the only ones that are all right. We just can't.
That, like, when we have a society like that, when there are people that are in extreme poverty, and every day they're watching people that are living well, what do you think that does to those people? And then you're telling them, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get it.
Do it.
Like, just do it. But some people can't just do it, because they have to figure out what their next meal is going to be. They have to figure out how to keep their kids safe. Like, there's neighborhoods, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, like, there are neighborhoods that are pretty much war zones. And people can't just move. And that's their primary focus, is being safe.
Yeah. And they don't know, like, they don't have the resources. They don't have the
there are no
strategies. They don't know. So when I have my programs, any type of workforce development program that I have, that I'm over managing, developing, I always include 2 weeks of skills, workplace ready skills, like personal branding, how to handle feedback, what is code switching, how to communicate effectively, financial literacy, because maybe in some cases, this is the first time that they are gainfully employed, getting a sure shot paycheck, how
Yeah.
to manage that, how to be healthy, make better eating choices. I have, medical professionals come in to talk about food choices, because if you're working, in order to be healthy and working, you have to have a level of working out and eating properly. You
Yeah.
do, period. And that's going to keep you from being sick all the time. That's going to help you have better energy, And when we talk about food, let me tell you, I don't, there's a part, I think, because I had wrote it down a little bit, but I'm just going to jump into it. It is what it is. Um, Listen, and this is something I had just realized, like in the past couple of years, Coach Mean
Mhm.
Reen, real. Listen, so you know how we eat, and then we get real tired. The itis jump in.
I got a tip for that, but
That means that food wasn't good for you.
I
That wasn't
know.
fuel for your body.
And you notice how in our community we have a name
Mhm.
for that,
Yeah, oh yeah. It's a part that goes before itis.
right?
That starts with an N.
But what does that say? Like, we're eating food that is not good for us,
Exactly. Because if
and we've been
food
doing
is
it forever.
fuel. Food is fuel for our body. So if your body is not functioning at premium level after you eat that food, you gotta, because I just started noticing, like about a year or so ago, like I'm starting to take note, like, okay, I can't eat this because after I eat that, I'm sluggish. I gotta shut it down. But then there's those foods that after you eat, you can keep going. You're like, all right, where's the party at? What are we doing? Where we going? What's going on? And that's how you know that's the premium for you.
Yep.
We're not regular. Why are you putting regular in a premium? What you
Right.
doing?
Oh, honey. And I know it tastes good, like that stuff that we want to eat that tastes
Oh,
good, and that's by design. That's by design. They want you to be hooked on that garbage. They want you to be hooked on all that processed food, because that's how they make money off of us. Once you
yeah.
eat that for years, you eat that food for 30 years, and now you have diabetes and high blood pressure. Now you're a slave. Huh. You're a slave to the healthcare
Yeah, you are.
um
And what's your future self saying
situation.
to you then
Right. Like, what
for
did
those choices you made for the
why did
past
you
30
do that? Why
years?
did you eat those fries all them years? Why?
See,
As you're pricking
some
your
of them
finger.
wasn't even good.
And diabetes, like diabetes is like one of the main things that us people, like our people, end up
Yeah,
end up developing over time.
yeah,
And we don't, and I'm not from not every single person, but I've seen this so often that I have to speak about it briefly, because I'm pretty sure we may or may not have some diabetics here. And I just want to say, guys, we are not medical professionals. We
mhm,
are just sharing our experience.
mhm,
Um, we don't take it seriously when that diagnosis happens.
yeah,
When people get diabetes and the doctor tells them what they need to eat, they're not listening. They still continue to eat rice, potatoes, bread, pasta, alcohol. They're still like, I
soda.
still need something a little sweet. I still need. You're killing, like, honestly, you are unaliving yourself slowly but surely each and every day eating that way.
Yeah,
And you
for
have to
sure.
come to a fork in the road when you say, it's either I continue eating this food or I can't eat it all. What
Yeah,
do you, you
be
got
an
to make a choice.
Aracertin. What is it called? An Araceratin. The
The
person that doesn't
yeah, don't eat anything. You have to start to really make those better choices and take that seriously. Even when you go to the doctor and they say that you might be pre-diabetic, or not might, they tell you you're pre-diabetic. That is not licensed to go home and continue to eat the same way.
Mhm.
And it's
You know what
very serious, guys.
You know what I think? I think every doctor should have on staff, just like they have nurses, they all should have a health planner, someone like that can help them, a person meal prep, or not meal prep, but meal
But give
plan
them an
according to
idea
their
of what to eat.
diagnosis. Hmm.
The thing is, like, we need, so in our communities, like, honestly, I think, because I've seen nutritionists at clinics.
Nutritionist, yeah.
So I've seen them there, but honestly, like, the nutritionist, isn't from our community or isn't from the
Mhm.
community, and they tell people to eat stuff like that they're really never going to
Brussels
eat.
sprouts.
Like, oh, you know what? You have to boil your chicken and you have, I don't, so
Yeah,
that's not realistic for someone that's coming from fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. They're not going to like, it's just, they can't fathom changing their diet to that degree.
I know it.
So that's kind of what I work on with clients is how
Uh-huh.
can you eat healthier but still not lose that taste, still be able to
Yeah.
like satisfy, because we like food, like
Yeah, we
let's be
do.
real, like we like food. So how can we shift how we're eating so that we're eating to our future self, and we're eating so that we are able to be upright, standing upright, walking tall at 80 years old, no cane. Okay. We are
Right.
standing upright. We're
Mm,
still able to travel unassisted. Like that's I look into the future and that's what I want.
yes.
And it's a real thing that can really happen. My mom is 70 years old and she works out with me
Wow.
with my classes
That's
every
amazing.
single night. And anyone that's come to class, let's put a 1 in the chat if I'm telling the truth.
I love
She
it.
comes every day, and I stop and pause sometimes, and I'm like, she is 70
Mm,
years old, and she's doing these mountain climbers. I want to be
wow.
there. I
Yeah,
want that.
for
So anyone
sure.
that's younger than that says to me, I can't do that.
Mhm.
I can't do that. Yes, you can do that.
Mhm.
It might take you some time to get there, but you most definitely can do that.
And so she's that example. She's that example for our generation. And that's what we have to be, that example for the generations before
Yes,
us or after us,
after us.
because
Mhm.
they can see how we, if we could do it, then they could do it. That's like some of the careers that some of my participants go into. I always try, well, I don't do it as much now, but I'm pretty good at understanding what each of those occupations do. But I
Mhm.
would go and shadow like for full days and be right there with the men and women doing the work, because I wanted to see what it felt like, look like. So, I would tell them I'm this age and I'm able to do it. So I know you can do it. And I'm a woman too. What? Come on. Don't do
Yeah,
that. Don't let me
yeah.
outdo you. So it's one of those. It's like your mother is that example. She's that role model for us, for
Like,
sure. I
she
know when
is
the women
amazing.
see her in your group, and the men and women, when they see her in your class, they probably like, yo, that's dope.
Like, they be
What?
like, "What?" And I'm like, "She's 70, she's about to be 71 in a week."
That's good.
Wow.
That's good.
Like, that is really, and I've watched her, like, in her like, late 30s, 40s, like, when she started getting those diagnoses from the foods that we all eat, and my family is West Indian. So same, like Southern blacks, it's the macaroni and cheese, the yams, the this, the that.
Mhm.
That's the Southern. But shoot, the West Indians, we eat just as bad. We eat,
Right.
we're not eating. There's a lot of things that we eat as well that are not good. They don't serve us when it comes to those diagnoses. And I come from a
Mhm.
family that has a lot of diabetes all around.
Mm.
Everyone has it, and I just refused.
Yeah.
So when my mom got to that age, she started to make those changes, started to change how she was eating, started eating more proteins. That's the tip I wanted to give. Like, you remember how you were speaking about that food that feels heavy? So
Yes.
instead, especially lunchtime, instead of going down to that cafeteria or to that drive-through and
Mhm.
getting Chick-fil-A with fries and all of the things that we love. We all do. I can't deny it. I love it too. Well,
Mhm.
not really anymore, because if I eat it, I don't feel the same. But I used to be right there in that drive-through. Like, let me get a number 5. Me too. But I started making those changes, and the small change that I do now, a small change, instead of the fries, right? Instead of getting fries, have a side salad
Mhm. Or fruit.
or fruit
Mhm.
instead of the fries. And I know, yeah, it's not the same thing, but your body, you will feel so much better. You
Yeah.
will feel so much better. And instead of that soda, Get some water. Put some fruit in the water. Make it look
Yeah.
pretty, and drink that.
Be
Some people
fancy
don't
with
like
it.
sparkling water, but I don't mind. I like sparkling water, so sometimes I'll do that. Put some fruit, put some fresh ginger in it, some cucumber, and it is so good. It's
But,
like soda without the sugar.
but there's so many different types of sparkling water, and it's just
Yeah,
really about finding the brand that you really like. Because so many people will say, "Oh, I don't like sparkling water," but they only tried one type. There's so many different
there's so
types.
many.
Yeah, and you were just saying about, oh, especially women of a certain age. I don't know. I don't see the men having this challenge. You start to get this buildup in your throat when you eat certain foods. Like after you eat, you might have to clear your throat all the time. You need to
Hmm.
understand what food did that to you. I know for me, it'll be mostly anything processed,
Anything
fries, any
processed.
kind of bread, and people don't stop to think about that and say, why I gotta clear my throat all the time after I eat certain things?
That's
Or,
mucus buildup.
yeah, and that's not good. So if that's happening to you, y'all that are listening in the chat, replay, whatever, it's something you're eating
It's
and you need to
something
cut
you're
that
eating,
out. Hmm.
and you've got to really start listening to your body. Like you have to start listening to your body, and I know that food tastes good. This is the hardest thing for people to change, is the way that they're eating.
Hmm.
That's the hardest thing. Like we're so focused on, I don't eat that bad. I don't like we this it's that this defense
Only,
mechanism that
yeah,
it drives me insane.
yeah, yeah.
um because I'm like, well, you came to me. I'm talking about specifically when people come to me as clients. I'll be in a fight for my life and for their life. I'm in a fight with them for their life at all,
Right,
because
right.
people don't realize how addicted we are to sugar, how addicted we are. And the reason why you love carbohydrates so much is because when it is digested in your body, that's sugar too. That's
Yeah.
why we love bread. You love bread. We love all of that because it's all sugar, and sugar is highly addictive. And it's
Hmm.
really one of the things that kill us. Like it adds extra weight, especially as you're older, especially over 40. And it's
Hmm.
something that you have to really start to take account of and be honest with yourself about what you're eating and what you're putting into your body. And I
Yeah.
think that kind of goes with our last we kind of spoke about this one before, but
Oh, wait, Coach, before we go to
okay.
that next one,
Uh-huh.
and I think people need to hear this.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying about the things that turn into sugar, the
Yeah.
carbs and such. So many people look at being a diabetic as someone that only eats or loves desserts. Well, I don't even eat dessert. I don't like this. I don't like sweetness. I like savory. I like, hearty
Yeah. Well,
foods.
you like
And,
grits. So grits is sugar. How about that?
right. You like potatoes. You like you
Biscuits is
like
sugar.
pasta. Yeah. And so could you explain that? Because people need to realize it don't matter if you don't like cake and pie. You can still
Right.
be a diabetic.
So exactly. That's kind of but I'll bring it all together. So when I was talking about diabetes and we're talking about that sugar, that insulin spike, that's really what it is. It's the insulin in your body being spiked over time. Now your body becomes insulin resistant and you can no longer digest it, and you have diabetes. You need assistance. You need assistance to process all the insulin. So that comes from the sugar. And a lot of times, like you said, Coach Sherry, the sugar, we assume that it's cake and pie. That's the obvious, right?
Hmm.
That's the obvious thing, like cake and pie. But that your body doesn't say, oh, that's cake when you're digesting it. It doesn't do that. The same thing with thinking that, okay, I'm not going to eat white rice, I'll eat brown rice. When you digest it, your body is not like, oh, that's brown rice, it's healthy. It's rice. And
Hmm.
rice, when you look at that rice on your plate, you might as well make it into sugar because it's sugar. The rice is sugar, the pasta is sugar, the bread is sugar. Those potatoes you like, those candy yams, that's triple sugar because you put the syrup, you put the brown sugar, and the potato sugar. It's all sugar. And what happens If you're diabetic and you're eating those things, you cannot eat those things and expect to have a good outcome. What ends up happening over time, unfortunately, with diabetics, if they're not properly managing their diabetes, is you can have amputations, you can lose your eyesight, you can go into a diabetic coma. And these are real serious things. And the other huge thing that I see diabetics doing is drinking alcohol. Oh my God. Like, I want to cry when I see it, because it's like you're drinking poison. You have to put the alcohol away. Like, you cannot drink. And just because when you taste the alcohol, it doesn't taste sweet, doesn't mean that your body isn't recognizing it as sugar. And that's something to really think about, guys. Like, if you are diabetic, or if you have a spouse or a child that is diabetic, you have to make their plate when you cook for them. Make their plate with a protein, like some kind of healthy meat, if you eat meat, and a vegetable. And vegetables, I mean green leafy vegetables. And if it is going to be greens, because you know how we make greens, we cannot add all of the things that we add in those greens.
All the salt.
All of that salt. And some people put sugar in their greens.
Yeah, to cut it. They call that, I'm just add a little sugar to cut the even in their pasta, the sauce, they put sugar.
Yeah, we do. Yes, us. We definitely put sugar in our sauce. We put sugar in. We are some sweet people. We love sugar, boy.
I have a cousin that put sugar in his grits, and I'm like,
yeah,
what
it's sugar
happened?
in the grits. Like, Lord of mercy. We really, it's something that it's like I'm on a crusade against sugar.
Right. It's a shame, because the way that we eat or have eaten over these decades, these hundreds of years, has changed our DNA. Like, things are now hereditary.
Yes.
Which is so wild.
And it's a part of it's a part of evolution, right? Like, your body starts to adapt to the environment. So it's like, oh, okay, well, this is something that's been happening. So
they almost
sugar is like cocaine
now. They'll be like, I don't claim anything in terms of my hereditary, like what people had in my family, because I'm changing the narrative.
Yes.
So you're not going to put a label on me and then look for it. I want you to look for the good stuff. Look for, like, I just had my biometrics done, and they were like, yo, you doing real good. It was almost like they were amazed by it. I'm like, yeah. It's not right.
That's the thing too. Like, when you decide, like, when you change your diet, I come across this quite often. Like, people like shame you for it. Like, for my ladies or people in the audience that don't eat meat anymore, how many times were you shamed for not eating meat? Right. How many times are you shamed if you stop drinking alcohol? They're like, you don't drink? Like, what? Like, how many times? Like, I don't understand the shame, but it's not for us to understand. You know why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know why you're doing what you're doing.
And it doesn't have to be a medical reason. It could be you're doing it for your future self.
Exactly.
Because so many people act like you got a diagnosis, and that's why you're not eating certain things or doing certain. No, I'm just trying to make my future self real proud of me right now.
Yes. And I want to make sure that when I'm 80 years old, we're going to go to that every time. I'm able to stand upright. I'm able to walk unassisted. That is like, these are things that we take for granted right now today.
Yes.
We take that for granted. We take the fact that we have full use of our limbs, that we can breathe on our own, feed ourselves. We take this stuff for granted.
For real.
And we cannot do that. And we take our health for granted. We take the fact that you feel okay today for granted, until that one day you wake up and your heart flutters, or you feel dizzy, or you can't walk for a second. I had that happen to one of my dear friends. All of a sudden, she couldn't move.
It's fleeting like that. It can happen like that. And that's deep when it does. You know?
So we have to be like, and sometimes things happen and it's really beyond our control. Like I always hear the argument of people saying, well, I know so-and-so, some whatever athlete worked out their whole life. They were an athlete and they just passed away suddenly.
Yeah.
That argument, I don't understand.
Yeah.
That was obviously, that's something that was very tragic that happened to that person. So you mean to tell me that you're not going to take care of yourself based on a freak accident or like that doesn't,
or underlying condition that they didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Exploradora. Hi.
Oh,
hey.
Wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. Hi, Exploradora.
We take our health for granted. We take the fact that we can move around on our own for granted. We put off starting our fitness journey because, I got all this other stuff going on. And I'm like, all that other stuff that you have going on, what will happen to all that other stuff if your health deteriorates?
Yeah.
What happens to it?
And I'm telling you, even if something beyond your control happens, you have to still not take it for granted today. So I remember, like with my mother, because ALS is a disease that there's no cause or cure for it. So you don't know how you get it, right? But I remember one time, one late night, my mother was in so much pain, we took her to the emergency room and I remember being back in the room with her and like she was able to twist her body and she just kept twisting like she was so restless. And I'm like, Mom, what you doing? Like, what's going on? Why are you doing all this? And she said, I just want to get out of my body and run. I just want to get out of my body and run.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, while we have it, while we have control enough of what we are putting in our mouths and what we're doing with our bodies, we need to do it to the best of our ability.
Yeah. And it's not a game. It's really, it's just like, I hope that you brush your teeth every day, just like you shower. Just like you shower, you take care of that. You make sure your outside looks good. You get your hair done. You get your nails done. You go and get the shape up. You get your beard. Just like we take all of that and put that as a priority, we need to do the same thing with that workout. We need to do the same thing with what we're eating. And if you need help, just like you would spend money to pay for a whatever, you'll spend money on that Louis bag, you'll spend money on whatever, invest in a coach that's going to help you and hold your behind accountable if you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
I had a coach when I first started getting into my fitness, and that's why I am able to coach now. I've done the courses, I've done everything I was supposed to do, and I also I'm able to be coached. Be careful of these coaches, guys, that have not done the work and they're not coachable. Like I had a coach. I had somebody yelling at me. I had somebody dragging me.
Yeah.
And teaching me how to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
That's why you see me in class all the time and I'm able to do it. And I know you guys are like, Dad, this girl don't. That's why. Because I did the work.
I have a coach too. I've raised my hand to myself and said the coach needs to be coached. Sometimes the coach needs to be coached. And if you do the type of coaching that we do, we don't have like a camp for coaches. We're doing our thing. And that's why you have to find that accountability partner, that one that's going to level you up even as a coach, because you are starting to see some things and it could be heavy. You need that coach that is a third party, not connected to you in any kind of way, that can handle the things that you're sharing with them and to help see it with a different lens.
Yeah.
That's not attached that can help you strategize even better and bigger. And I'm telling you, I love being a coachable coach because
Yeah.
the things that especially my previous coach, I don't have a coach now because I'm good right now. But if I need one again, I will definitely be reaching out. And she's the one that is like, you deserve a seat at the table. That's her whole theme.
That's how I ended up, because my coach told me the same
Right?
thing. She was like, you could do this.
Yes.
She was like, you need to.
Just do it. But you have to follow what they're saying. And that's how I know
I struggled
that
in the beginning. I was
everything
like,
works
what?
if you follow what your coach is telling you. If you try to shortcut or if you try to drop the ball because it's not happening quick enough, you're not coachable. You're not doing what the coach is saying because practice takes time. The game is not the next day all the time. Sometimes the game is the next month, the next season, but you still have to put that practice in. And that's when it's going to matter. It matters during the practice. Because the game, by the time the game comes, you're supposed to already know the plays, your position, all that.
Yep. Like you have to, like, I had a mentor once, and she said, you always need to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. She said, you want to have the things, you want to be working in the background, working on your craft, so that when that opportunity comes, you can say, here it is. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, bars. She said, you don't want to, like, that opportunity to present itself and you're not ready because you weren't doing the work.
And so, listen, this right here, this conversation and us too as coaches is the dopest thing. I hope the chat is really appreciating it for real, because your perspective is the physical, like it's the mental too. Mine's is the mental as well. Like it's just the combination is sick. It's sick.
Yeah.
Because listen, I always say that too. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I always tell people, make sure you're resume ready every 6 months. You need to update your resume.
That resume.
Updating it. Do you know how many times this past couple of weeks that people have requested my bio because I'm presenting, and I'm giving it to them right away because I have my bio ready. I stay ready. And every time when they ask that, you have a bio, you have this, they think it's going to take days. Like I could tell when they say it, like, here we go. It's going to probably, here you go. My reply is, it's attached.
Here it is.
That's updated and all.
That is what I'm talking about. That is true. That is true self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that preparation, making sure that you're ready. So when the opportunity comes, like imagine, I know this one day it will happen where an opportunity happens, right? And they're like, oh, we would love, because I'm a plus size coach. That's a thing, right? They're going to be like, we would love for you to come on our platform or come on our thing. And imagine me being like, well, I'm going to need another, what you need? A 15-minute workout? What do you need? I'm ready. I got it all.
Exactly.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Stay ready. Yeah. Same thing, like when that messaging about like being ready for the summer or losing weight for your wedding or losing weight for the summertime. We want to stay ready at all times. We want to be ready for life. We're not losing weight for the summertime or for whatever, a holiday or a birthday, that birthday dress, the wedding dress. Right. We're losing weight and getting healthy for life.
Yes.
Period.
For our future.
Like that's it. Like
yes.
There's nothing else. Like the wedding is there, but
it lightens the load when you do that.
Yes.
And like you said, it definitely eliminates stress, because if you are scrambling around, oh shoot, the wedding's in 2 weeks. What?
2 weeks,
you know? Oh, they want me to come with my resume tomorrow. Hold on. Do you know how many calls I get from clients that they didn't want to do the resume package, and so they now calling me, Coach Sherry, I have a job I see posted. When you think you can what?
I don't work like this.
I
don't work
not
like
at all.
This. You have to be.
What you talking about? I mean, I'll do it, but it may not be when you need it, because it just don't work like that.
Like when people first come to me and they want to do, especially the one-on-one coaching, because that's a lot more intense. And I ask them, like, what is their why? Like, why are they entering into this program? If they tell me, that I'm losing weight for my birthday,
Oh,
I'm like, I'm sorry, but you're not ready.
yeah.
No,
Right.
because
That's real
you're not
talk.
going to do all of the things that I'm gonna have you do in this time, and
Yeah.
you're not ready, and I'm not gonna have you pay that type of money for you to just fool around with it. I
Exactly.
operate with integrity. I could
Yeah.
take their money and just, but I'm not doing that because it's a lot
Yeah.
on me too. I'm not.
Yeah. I know it. It's an investment, and it's
It's
an
an
investment
investment,
on both
but
ends.
you
That's
have
why
to be
before I
ready.
take a client, I do an exploration conversation with them for 30 minutes because I want to be a good fit and I need to make sure they're a good fit for me and that they're ready, like you're saying, mentally.
Yeah.
Are you really ready for what I'm about to
What
lead you
a,
through? Because
are you ready to make the change? Because if you are not ready for change, you're not really going to do it.
no.
And long term change, you're not really going to do it.
And don't come saying, oh, my manager told me I need to come to you, or oh, my partner told me I needed to come, or whatever. No, I need you to come because you realize you could see it for yourself. And I talked about this after the show last night about abundance intelligence.
Yes.
When you see it for yourself that you need to make that change. And so, how do you do that? If you've been doing what you do all the time, you're not going to know the other strategies. So that's why you
Right.
do need a coach or a counselor or a
Yes.
therapist. And so when
Right.
you see that, then you own it. You're like, it's all me. Because sometimes, listen, things happen, and I might say, you know what? It's not that, it's me. And
Yeah.
so when you own that, that's when you take an account for what's going on for real. You're the one, yeah, your man might have brought the cake, but you ate it,
But you ate
you
it.
know. So it's you got to own that. And so
You
then when
have
you
to
own
own
it,
that.
you have to. And when you own it, then you can start putting in strategies, techniques that's going to help you change your habits and your mindset. And you have to live it every day, but you living it so consciously. You're thinking about it. When you going for that one thing that you know is not good, you have to absolutely at that moment do the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's consciously taking the steps to live it with greater frequency, and then you'll be it. When you're being it, that means it's just what you do. It's how you
Right.
move. It's what you
Right.
eat. It's how you do every day. Like, yeah, what? I'm working out. What? Yeah,
Right. It's
back.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's
7
time. It's
a.m.,
time. It's
7 p.m.
time. It's time to take ownership of your own
Mhm.
action.
It's time.
It's time to
I
take
love that.
ownership of your own action. Like no more blaming anyone else.
No.
Like you said about the cake. Like I hear that quite often too. Oh, my man, he tried to sabotage me. He be bringing these
Yeah.
cakes in here. And I'm like, but who is he shoving it into your throat?
Right.
You're eating it.
We are grown. We're no longer
And
babies.
honestly, like if you really want to change, you should have a little cake in the house because you need to develop that ability to not doing it, to not eating it. You need to
Yeah.
develop the ability to know that it's there, but knowing that you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to
For
touch
real. For real. That's
it.
so
And
true.
that's a high level skill.
Yes.
Seeing the cake and not eating
Yes.
it and not
Yes.
eating it. Yeah, self-control, developing amazing self-control and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Developing that because you're going to be in rooms where people are eating cake. You're going to be in rooms where people are, and I
Going to
know
be
this because
drinking.
I do sugar-free challenges all the time. Like I cut every sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there's always something. Like I went to a whole conference, and every morning, what do they have for breakfast? They have bagels,
Danishes.
danishes, and everything that I can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
And people all around me are eating it. But what is my why? Why am I not eating that? Because
Yeah.
I come from a family that has diabetics all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and I am not doing that to future Shireen. We're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving her diabetes
Right. Because that's what it is.
because that's
That's
what you're
like
doing.
once I
I'm
was
not doing it.
diagnosed. Once I was diagnosed with my heart challenge, I realized I had to stop with alcoholic beverages. And it's not
Yeah.
like I was a slush or anything, or lush.
Slush. And I mean,
Slush.
I guess it depends how many you had.
And it depends on what type of drink it is, because if it's a daiquiri, but but
Because
like
it could be slush.
every now and again I would go and have a glass of wine or a martini or something like that. But I knew my future self did not need that. That did not need to be part of the problem. So I cut it out. And it's interesting because, you know, there's different levels professionally, right? And so there's a level that they drink a lot. Like socially, like after the, you know, after hours type thing. And so they asked me, do I drink? And I said no. And it was almost like I was outcast, you know, like, oh, she's not. I'm like, first of all, I'm bugged out anyway. Trust, I don't need alcohol to get completely sober.
And look,
exactly. This is water in this cup. That's all I drink, because I like to eat my calories, not drink my calories. So typically I just only drink water. But I'm just saying, what? Y'all think I'm not a vibe because I'm not drinking with you? Are you mad?
But that's a real thing. It's a real thing. And sometimes people feel pressure to do those things because they don't want to be outcast. Like I mentioned earlier, like if you don't eat meat and you go to certain family functions, they like, you ain't got no meat on your plate, or like the alcohol, or me, like with the sugar, and I go with my friend somewhere and there's all this stuff and I don't eat it and I'm not drinking, and they're like, oh, she always trying to be like, this is what people tell you, like they outcast you.
yeah. Oh, we didn't think you'd want to go because we were drinking. What? That's why Rooted needs to get his book out. He needs to make a book of mocktails, because there are some really good bars though that have mocktails, and I'll rocks with a mocktail now.
And they should, but I'm just saying, really and have like healthy options for people, because like honestly, people are becoming more aware of what they're eating and drinking, and they don't want to eat like that and drink like that anymore. But they still want to be social. Like you still want to be social.
Have my salsa water with lemon and lime in it. Can you have a slice of orange to make it look like something? Hold on.
Yeah, put a little one of them cherries in there. Make them
you have back there. Just add that salsa water.
And that's the thing. Like happy hour is all happy hour is just a bunch of alcohol and badly processed foods.
Yeah.
Like
coming around on a tray. coming
out on the tray, like, here.
Don't know.
Here's some high blood pressure for you. You want some?
Right. Your future self will be mad at you, but you're
gonna have the swollen ankles. Like, guys, that's a sign. Like, if you're starting to experience that, like your hands are swelling, your ankles, like go get your blood work done.
Yeah.
Like, go get your blood work done because something isn't right. Like, pay attention to your body, guys. That's not a normal thing. Like that's something that we, our people, this is what we say. Like, oh, you know, my ankles just swell up a little bit. No, that's not good.
No. And then they'll be like, oh, but you remember your great aunt, her ankles swelled up too. And they think that if they can connect you with somebody in the past, like a future relative or a past relative that had the same thing, that you'll be good. Like, that's just how our family, that's how we built. That's not how we built, which is so out. Like, you gotta change the narrative.
I'm like, that means that's a hereditary issue that we need to fix.
Right.
That doesn't mean that it's good.
No.
But
it's just something
to think about. Right. It's something to just be aware of. And I know that a lot of us, like Black women, especially, and Hispanic women as well, we have made like being overweight a thing. Like we made it like we've turned it into a positive because we'll just say we're thick or we're whatever. And there's a point where you gotta you gotta push away from the table. You get to a certain weight where you are too big. And it's not just, oh, I'm big boned. And we don't like to have that conversation. And we don't like, I remember when I was my heaviest and people would say to me that I was carrying the weight well. That's what they would say to me. It was that, oh, you carrying, I was 312 pounds. That is not carrying weight well. I was way overweight. But because of our culture, you know, if you big, you know, you can still, you still like, you got a man, your man love you, whatever, and we just brush it off. But
Mhm.
we're really doing ourselves a disservice. And I'm not a small person now, so I'm not saying that you have to end up being a size 2. But what I'm saying is, if you are well over like 100 pounds overweight,
Mhm.
you've got to lose some of that weight for your health.
Definitely.
It doesn't really matter how good you think you look. Your insides are not looking good. The
Yeah.
visceral fat around your organs is not looking good. So some of that has to come off.
Mhm. Definitely. I
It
know
is.
when my
Obesity is glorified, and also
Mhm.
like we also like we like our curves. So that's the other thing that I hear a lot is people don't want to lose their curves. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, if you come to class, I'll teach you how to lose the weight and keep the curves.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when our son had opted not to play football in college, and
Hmm.
my husband was like, "You're gonna have to, do
Work
something with
out.
your weight. You can't carry that weight." And my son's entire life, he's been, a Tonka truck, it's like a healthy, thick. I never
That's
knew
how
him
I
not to
was
be
too.
thick. Right? And he lost 100 pounds, and he
Mm,
lost it at the age of 18, and he's 26 right now, and he still has it off. And
yeah.
he's a tall, thin young man now. And
Mm,
when I see him, even to this day,
you like,
even though it's been so many years, I'm just like, wow, like I never thought that his body frame would be like that. But he's
mm,
healthy. He works out, he's strong, muscular, everything. But he changed his eating habits. He keeps it very basic, and so many people are like, that's all he eats all the time. He makes listen, I try to give him seasonings or whatever to put on his chicken, but he only makes chicken breasts and broccoli or Brussels sprouts or string beans. He doesn't go elaborate with anything. Air
right,
fry and all that, doesn't
right.
fry foods. But I remember when he first did it, and we went to I believe it was IHOP, and we were sitting there. It was me, him, and my two daughters, or his sisters, and we getting it in. We this is before I thought about my future self. So we're eating, and he had a salad. He's so disciplined, and I'm
Yeah,
so proud of that, of him, that he understands, like, my skeleton cannot carry 300 pounds, so he's
right,
200 pounds now. Like, he was
right.
always a 2XL, a 42 waist. Now he's a 38 waist, a
Yeah,
medium to large, type of
yeah.
thing. But he's tall. He's 6'3" and a half, 6'4". But it's like amazing. It's amazing. So
Hmm.
you can do it. It takes dedication. That's just how he is now. That's how he eats. He understands his limitations. And we all have to understand our limitations, but it's customized. It's you can't do exactly what the person next to you has done. So that's
Right.
the other thing. People see people that may have lost a lot of weight or doing things differently, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it just like that." You can't.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
And then they still can't, they can tell you what they've done, but they can't, like, the day to day what's the word I'm looking for? The day-to-day fight that you have with
Right.
your demons, with the way that you used to eat.
Your
No one can
beliefs.
really illustrate that. And that looks
Hmm.
different for every person.
Hmm.
That looks different for every person. So what might, like you said, what might work for one person might not necessarily work for you. And you can do the same thing that somebody else did, but you might not have the same results.
Yeah. And it's a relationship too. So just like with financial literacy, when I teach financial literacy, I'm teaching them how to have a better relationship with money, with finances.
Yes.
So I'm sure you, as a health coach, that you are teaching them how to have a better relationship with food, because
Yes.
we all have our beliefs. And, again, the beliefs come from the bed we were bred in, the environment we grew up in, the things that we heard, that we saw, and
Like, you
that,
have to clean your plate. Like, you can't
yeah,
get up
you
from
have
the
to clean your
table.
plate.
You have to
Oh,
eat
you got to
all of the
eat that
food.
because she's gonna get mad if you don't eat it. oh, you got to eat something here too, even though we got someplace else to go. You got to eat there too, those types of things. And just like with money, oh, you got this money, buy what you want, what you want. Now we can get all, feast and famine. And it's feast and famine in both ways, with money and with food. So
Yeah.
It's really, that's the thing that a coach helps you with, is pulling out your beliefs and making
Yes.
sure that they are aligned with the life you want to live today and what you want your future to look like. Because if you don't untangle that web, oh, that'll be the web that will continue to weave, and you
It'll
will
just keep
continue to
weaving,
get stuck.
and
You
you'll
will
be on that
continue to
cycle
start and stop.
over and over. You'll gain and lose. You'll get money,
Yep.
you'll spend it, and then it'll be gone.
Lose.
Then you're trying,
Yep.
like, that'll be your life. It's these
Yes.
highs and lows instead of a steady, nice where you every time you look in the bank, there's money there.
Yes.
Every
time you look in the closet, you could fit those clothes. And
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You can wear the same clothes all the time because they fit.
Yeah.
Like, how many of us got clothes in our closet? Well, not anymore. That you can't fit. I remember when I got down and I was able to fit jeans that I had sitting in the back of that closet forever. I broke down in tears.
Wow.
Like, I was able to put on jeans, like button them, and they were fit regularly.
See? And then how about the ones that do lose the weight and they keep the big clothes just in case? Get rid of those.
Get rid of it.
Just like,
but if you haven't lost the weight, and if you've lost the weight, but you haven't lost your old mindset, you're going to gain it. You are going to gain it back. Yeah. That's why I turn clients away if they come to me and tell me about they want to lose weight for a wedding.
Yeah. Or for me, if you just want a coach to get you that promotion and that's it, like, you think that's all that this is about?
It's deeper than that. I'm not doing that. I'm not. You're not ready. And somebody else, I'll refer them. I have other, people that are coaches. I'll refer them out, and I'm like, maybe they'll work with you. I'm like, but the work that I'm going to do with you is going to require you to be all in, and it's going to take way longer than the wedding. That's 3 weeks away.
3 weeks. I know it. That's so wild. And I'm sure they come to you like, my friend.
And television. Like, I think back to the Cosby Show. Remember way back in the Cosby Show when Claire wanted to fit into the dress? And she had Debbie Allen come, or somebody, I think it was Debbie Allen, came and was her coach for like a week, and she had to lose 5 pounds to fit in the dress, and she was eating like nothing all week. That's the culture we have, the diet culture. Starve yourself to lose the weight. That's not going to sustain.
And that's so wild to me.
For a long time.
That's so wild, because first of all, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, I won't even know where it came from. It won't make me fit into anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when people say, oh, I just want to lose 5 pounds, and then like, where? That might be in my elbow. I don't know. Where would that come from?
That's water weight.
You drink something and it's right back at you. Right back at you. So it has to be more than that. That's that culture of starving yourself and working out excessively to lose the weight. That is not something that you're going to be able to do for the rest of your life. Like, you got to do more damage than good too. It could do more damage than good.
Yeah,
for sure. I know the chat has been flying.
They remember. I remember that episode.
Yes,
it was a funny episode, but when thinking back, like as an adult, and thinking back on all the messages I got about diet, especially being like a fluffy girl and then wanting to lose weight, it was always all or nothing. And people still hold on to that to this day. And that's why Ozempic and those types of medications are thriving, because it's promising that you'll lose weight quickly. And there's no quick. You have to do well, you probably will lose weight fast, but are you going to keep it off fast? Right. Or are you going to gain it back fast?
That's the thing. Because they haven't changed their habits.
You haven't changed the mindset. You haven't changed the habit. And it's very attractive. I understand why people go on these. It's very attractive. And the messaging that they're telling you is, oh, you need assistance to get it weight off. And I'm like, but you can't stay on that forever.
No.
And you're still the same person. So after you've come off of the meds, then what?
When your appetite returns, then what?
Then what? Like, what skills have you learned to not eat the way you used to eat without the assistance of this medication? And if you've learned the skills, then why do you need the medication?
Right.
Then they hang up on me. No. Nobody want to.
That's when you get to dial tone.
Do what they want to do.
Wow.
And I'm just I always talk about it because I'm quite concerned about the long-term effects of what that medication is going to do to people.
I'm always concerned about long-term effects for any, especially new medication. You know, before I got into, well, I've always been an entrepreneur and in business because I grew up in a brick and mortar that my parents owned and operated for 40 years. But when I went to college and I came out, I worked on Wall Street in environmental law, and I was an editor. And, you know, unfortunately, fortunately, whatever, but unfortunately, we represented typically the insurance companies or the pharmaceuticals. But I had to review, you know, the history of what was going on.
Yeah.
And there was one drug in particular that helped women keep their baby. You know, if women had a history of miscarriages, and of course, if you have a history of that and there's a medicine that's going to tell me I'm going to keep this baby, I'm going to take that medicine. And so they did, and they did it from like 1947 until about 1973. So that's a long time. And the women offspring, the girl offspring, the female offspring of the mothers that took that medicine had terrible issues. When I tell you terrible issues, physically, internally, emotionally, even, and in many cases, they had challenges with having a baby too.
Wow.
And so that taught me that you got to know, like, what the offspring, how they doing, you know? So I forget what the shot is. I think it's a shot. It's a shot that they were really trying to push for young teens. I don't know if they was trying to push this for all young teens, but they definitely was trying to push it to my daughters. And I always went to find
for AP. Was it the HPV? Vaccine?
Yes, I always declined it. I declined it because I would say, "What? Tell me, how are the babies from the people that have gotten this shot? How are their babies
doing?" They don't know.
They was like, what? They were like, what are you talking? I'm like, how are the babies doing? They would be like, we don't know that. Well, when you find that out, then you can talk to me about this drug. But this is too new for me to give it to my daughters. I'm not doing it. And then they made it so you can give it to sons too. We never did that. I'm like, we'll take our chances. I never had the shot, so we'll be all right. We'll get to that road when we get to it.
No, but that's a real thing. Like sometimes we just follow what the doctor says, and we don't think like, I just wish people would think with it. And it's everywhere. Every time I see it, there's a new version of it. It's everywhere. And I'm evolving. Like, no. And I'm because honestly, like there is no quick fix, guys.
No.
Like
it really isn't.
There is no quick fix. And I'm really afraid about what the issues, and some people are having immediate issues. Some people are suffering from stomach paralysis.
Wow. Behind what does that look like? What do you mean? What is that?
That means your stomach that no longer digests, and you have to go into the hospital. I don't know what they do to you, but they have to digest your food.
How do you like how?
Because that's in essence, that's what that medication does. It slows down your stomach function, so that you feel full longer. But you know, obviously, if you think about that, like for some people, it could have an adverse effect and completely stop your stomach.
And my thing is too, like again, okay, you feel fuller longer, but you haven't changed your eating habits, like your style.
Like the same thing with the diet, the weight loss surgery. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like people gain, like I'm pretty sure we all know someone that gained the weight back.
Yeah.
You're not learning the tools.
We so fast. Listen, remember back in the day, wasn't that long ago, like in the mid 2000s or whatever, and women would get in those body con things, like like a body thing underneath your clothes, almost like a girdle, but it was like a girdle you had to have help to get into. I forget what they used to call
Yeah,
it.
that
They had the
thing is,
parties,
and they're like,
and
oh, it's
you
gonna
lose
help
3
you to lose
inches.
it. You're
And
gonna lose 3 inches squeezing into that thing,
but
but
my
take
thing
it
was,
off.
but what about your arms and your head? Like it's not gonna all match up. What's going
But
on?
it's not realistic though. Like
No.
it's not. You're not
What was
losing
that
anything.
called?
They're called, well, they call them fajas now, or what's the other
But
word?
they remember they used to have parties
And
too around it.
yeah, like to
Shows, home
keep to put
shows.
them on.
Mm-hmm.
But and people still get those, the waist trainers. That's the
But it
word
would
that
be
they
kind of
call
like
it
a
now.
full body suit. I never went to a party, but people would always tell me, and I'm like, I mean, I get it. Your torso could be a problem area, yeah. But what about your arms? Because my arms match my body. So and my legs,
But then what about your muscle underneath?
your
Like no
ribs.
one's thinking about a strong core here.
Right. Right. You
I
know?
get it. It's another. It's always. They're always going to make so much money off of us because we don't want to do the hard work. We just want the results.
Exactly.
And that's what that's about. You know, that's what that thing. What are people saying in the chat? They're calling it the body magic.
Yes.
Body magic representative.
Yes.
That,
Yes.
but I'm like, okay, well, when you take it off,
That's what I mean. You are a whole imposter.
yeah. Like when you take,
You're a
okay,
misrepresentation. Who wants to be that?
waist trainers are like, so I wear like, I guess it's called a waist trainer. I put that on when I'm like working out sometimes if I'm jumping, because I've lost a lot of weight and the skin, I have loose skin from losing weight. So I use that to hold it in place. That's all it's good for.
Does it have the rubber on the other side of it?
It has the rubber all the way around. It has a zipper.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all it's good for. It's a bra for your belly. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It is not going to cinch
use those a lot to work out. Those are good to work out in because it helps sweat too. It helps with sweat.
Kind of. Not really.
Right?
Because honestly, you're going to sweat anyway. And like those trainers that you put around your waist, like people wear them with the thinking that it's going to help them to lose inches. It's going to help them. It's not really. But if you want to wear it, it's not going to harm you to wear it. So I'm not saying don't wear it, but just kind of have realistic expectations around it. It's not really doing anything, but if it makes you feel good, go ahead.
Yeah, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But that body thing, I felt like I think you had to have help to get in it. And then I'm like, how do you go to the bathroom?
Right.
Like, you know, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You know, what if you're out and about? You wait till the last minute.
Brit said, and then she said that you spilling out like a can of busted biscuits.
Not busted biscuits. Exactly.
I think we're gonna end in like another 8 minutes.
Okay.
Because we're almost at the 2-hour mark. We really, yeah. We did it. This was really good. I knew it. Like when I reached out to you last week. So guys, I'll tell you a little bit about how Coach Sherry and I came to be. So I don't know how long ago it was now, maybe a few months back. I think I first saw you in Stash Cash's live, I think. And then I went to your channel. And when I went to your channel, the first video I came across was a walking video. And I fell in love with that voice. I think I put in the chat in your comments, like, hi, I love your voice. And the sound of your feet and the gravel. I don't know, that really does something. It's like each step is like you're crushing your goals. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I like this. I like this. So I started watching more of your content. And I told you about the Are You Locked In community, and you started coming over and you were introduced to everyone. So I'm really glad that we're here and able to do this today. We finally had a chance to come together and do this live. And I would obviously love to do another one. We could do one on your channel as well. Whatever, you know, I'm open to it. And we talked about some other things off. You know, we won't bring that until we plan those, but we talked about some other things as well.
Yes.
So look forward to those, guys. Look forward. We have some really big things coming, and we'll tell you guys more about that as we. Oh, look, Cams is here. Hi, Cams.
Oh, hey, I was just watching her today.
Yes, that voice.
Some great information. Great information.
And she's so spirited.
Thank you, Cams.
She's like I feel like, I don't know how tall you are, Cams, but I feel like you're like a little petite woman with all of this. Like you have all of this passion and energy in you. I love it. Like I absolutely love that.
She does. She has some great information.
And she has great information.
And I want to just also say, like, thank you for, you know, being real with your comments. So many people don't leave comments. They think it to themselves and they just keep it moving. They don't even like the video sometimes. They just be like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that. Wow. But you took the time out to, you know, leave a comment. And if you get comments, you know, be curious enough to see what their content is about too. So I went over to you and fell in love with your content and all the information that you share. I absolutely love your morning vlogs, how you put them together, just seeing how your days roll out and progress. And I appreciate you for sharing that with us. So this is definitely a two-sided coin where, you know, we both, I feel, have found value in each other.
Yes.
And I respect that. I do. I do. And I love this opportunity to also be streaming this live on my channel. That's very generous of you. And I thank you for that. And for those of you that are watching on my channel, I don't know why would I look this way.
Chat, honey.
Yeah, they're in the chat. I'm telling you, Coach Mean Reen is the truth. And you really need to be connected to her. You know, she's not a game. She's not fake, phony, a fraud. She's the real deal. And, you know, we need more real people out here on these YouTube streets. And I'm just glad that I've connected with real people. So I know the people that have been in my chat, I'm looking over here because that's where my chat is. I could just still look straight ahead. But the people that, you know, have been in my chat, they are real, Coach Mean Reen. Hopefully you can go back to them as well, because there's some good people out here. You just got to find them. And once you do, get locked in with them, you know, for real.
And that's the thing that I really appreciate about YouTube is that you can find some amazing people that are doing amazing things.
Yes.
Like it's really great to see. It's really great to see that, like to see people that are stepping outside of their comfort zone and putting themselves out there on a platform. You know, like when we all first put our first video out, it was like, oh, all right, here goes. And you put your video out and you kept doing that. Like, so pat yourselves on the back, all the content creators that are here. And if you're thinking about content creation, go ahead and do it. Like, you never know who you can inspire. Oh, they put look at you. Woo, you guys are on point. Candy she put thank you so much. She put the link from my channel.
Oh, that's so cool, Pandy. Thank you
so much.
She's on my side, so she made sure everybody.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm saying you meet these people that are just absolutely amazing.
Yes, that's so dope of you, Pandy. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
That's what it's all about. You know, a lot of times people want to increase their circle, you know, with people that are more quality than quantity. And in their immediate outside of things, in real life circle, they may not encounter people like that. And so here on YouTube, for sure, you can definitely find that quality. You know, you really can. And
you find people that are just amazing. Like you watch
yes,
their content and you're like, wow, they created that on their own. Like,
all over the
and
world.
then the homes, like when I just saw, I think I saw Trish, Homebody Trish. I swear I did. I don't know where it went, but when I
Mhm.
see Homebody Trish and I see her home and the home she's created with her and her husband, and it's a beautiful, I love it. And it
Mhm.
gives you this sense of pride for people that you've never met. It's like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And even taking people with you when you are on your day to day, or if you on
Yeah.
vacation, because some people vicariously through you is how they're experiencing that. I was
Yeah.
just at the beach and someone, a very mature woman was like, I've only been to the beach twice in my life. Well, you're here now with
Well, you're here
me,
now.
and
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
It
It's
it,
a
it
it's
short
a
it
real
makes the
like
world smaller.
it's like it makes it smaller, and it's also like when you're a content creator and you're having those times when you're not seeing the results you think you want to see.
Hmm.
Think about that. Think about that one person that
Yeah,
you don't know that you have touched. Like
right.
you might have changed their life. Like you might
Yes.
actually, like they could have been someone that was sitting on the couch all the time and they come across one of my videos and now they start walking just
Yeah.
up and down their living room.
Hmm. For
That is what
sure.
keeps me going. Like I get
Yeah.
really emotional about that too. That keeps me going.
Definitely. And
But
and
think about
even with
that,
what I
guys. Like, think
do,
about the one person and not
that one
so much
person.
of the big picture.
Yeah. That's what I always focus on, is that one person. I work with thousands of people, but I know that if I can make a change in at least one person, that one family, that one community, that one situation is going to be better. I know it.
Yeah.
And I, like, one of my daughters is a realtor, and I'm like, all you have to sell is one house. Like, that person is only going to buy one house. So
Yeah.
it's just about finding that one. It just takes one,
Yes. And
you
that's
know?
that's so powerful. It just takes one. And when you
Mhm.
think about it like that, that's how you're able to keep going.
Mhm.
That is how you're
Yeah,
able to keep going. It just takes one.
it
It
does.
just takes one. But if
Some
you
people get
stop,
caught up,
yeah,
yeah, in the
yes.
numbers. Oh, I don't
Too
have
much.
enough views. I don't have enough subscribers, blah, blah, blah.
One, you have one.
Yeah.
One person clicked on your video and watched it and commented.
Yes. Mm.
That's humongous. Don't
Mhm.
get so caught up in like the big picture. Just focus on that. Focus on the fact that you actually put together this video and put it out. How about
Yes.
that?
How about that? How about that? Because listen, putting out a video could almost be like working out.
It
Sometimes you're like, I
is.
don't know. I don't
Sometimes you don't
know.
want to sit down and I know I don't want to sit down and edit. I'll be like, I don't want it. But you
Yeah.
do it anyway because there's a bigger picture. You're doing it for who? Your future self.
Yes, self.
At
Mm,
all times, guys, we are doing this for our future self. All right, guys.
absolutely.
If there any questions or any final comments anybody wanted to drop, I see you guys are saying thank you and you really appreciated the content today. I appreciate you guys for
Yes.
sticking with us for 2 hours.
What?
Y'all love us in real
Right?
life.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Oh,
appreciate this and
gratitude
all
for
the
sure.
connections, like everyone connecting with each other. I love that.
Mhm.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yes, we are stronger together for sure. And Coach
Yes.
Sherry, I just want to thank you
Thank
for
you.
agreeing to come on and chat with me because I was like, I don't really have like it's not a set quite. I just want us to come on and talk.
Yes. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to you for extending that over. Thank you. Mhm.
And I
This has been
thank you. I
wonderful.
thank
I've
you.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I really enjoy your perspective. Share a lot of we really do share a lot of similar beliefs in the way that we do things.
Mhm.
Our focuses are different. Like yours is career, but mine is fitness, but we saying the same thing. And all
Yeah.
of it goes across. It goes across genres and across all things, right? All aspects of
Absolutely.
our lives is how we
Mhm.
show up for our future
Yes.
self. That's
Yes.
pretty much the bottom line. How are you
Yes.
going to show for your future self? What does your retirement look like? What is your retirement going to look like? Are you going to have to still be working well into your 60s and 70s? Or are you going to be relaxing because you've put in the work all that time and now you can enjoy the fruits of your labor? Oh, there's a question. Oh, wait. Oh, there's a question. Coach Mean Reen, how do you deal with burnouts? Okay. So the way that I've handled burnouts is I don't allow myself to burn out. So I'll explain. So I do daily videos, right? That's a big deal. But I have a schedule. Like I set it up where I have a schedule. I set it up where when I'm filming, I know kind of what I want to do with the video. So I film it and I'm editing myself as I'm filming so that when it's time to edit, it's easier, if that makes sense. And then when it comes to my daily workouts, every day I'm making a payment in the bank. And if you don't pay the bank, what happened? You got a car note, right? And you don't make payments to the bank. Who coming to collect that car? The repo man. They're going to come knocking. So I think about that. I think about what will happen if I don't do, and I just focus my attention on doing. And then making time for myself on top of everything else. So prioritizing what I need to get done, what I need to do. And that's kind of how I prevent myself from getting all like overwhelmed and crazy. And I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Don't watch the news.
Right. Be aware of what's going on, but don't be
aware, but don't obsess, I should say.
Right.
Don't obsess over the news and every little thing that's happening, because you'll paralyze yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. So I don't see any other questions. But if you guys do have any additional questions or you think of something later, feel free to leave it in on the replay, because we're going to put this up. It'll be up on my channel and also up on Coach Cherry's channel. So if you think of something after the fact, just drop it in the comment section and share it with your friends. If you enjoyed this tonight, share it with your friends, share it with your family members. So you don't have to like tell them. You could just say, watch this.
Yes. Right. Let us do the hard work for you.
Yeah. Okay. So I thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys. Thank you, Coach Cherry. Have a great night, everyone.
Yes, take care, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye.